Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a review of what the developers have put out as a roadmap for the future of Azur Lane. If you weren't already aware, last week there was a live stream set to commemorate the 7th anniversary of Azur Lane in the Chinese servers. And they dropped a lot of information in that. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I actually have a live review of the whole live stream archived on my channel. However, if you're pressed for time and you just want the important tidbits, this video is for you. Now, one of the most important announcements they made during this live stream was the ships and skins for the next UR event in the game. Now, if you've logged in at all this week, you know that those have already come to the game and you don't need me to tell you about them. And if for some chance you did, I put a lot of effort into this other video, a data mine earlier this week that you can go watch and get all the details and reviews and stats and skills about those ships. So when I was planning this video, I intended to not talk about any of the updates from light of the Martyrium event. However, we must briefly talk about Morgador before we go into anything else. Before anyone had actually gotten her and we were just looking at the data mine stats, I had this to say about her. There are so many questions about this that when this ship is available for people to have, I am so interested in how this works. Because this, on paper, doesn't seem amazing. It just seems weird, but then I could be totally missing something. Needless to say, once we actually got in the game and got to see the stab attack, it was terrible. It was awful. It didn't do any of the things that I wanted it to do, and it literally was just her suiciding into the boss and dying at 12 seconds into the battle every time. Understandably, some people were upset by this, and they announced that they were going to be doing a hotfix for her. Her first skill, which contains the stab effect, will now have the additional buff of during the stabbing attack, if she takes damage equal to 10% of her HP, she will ignore bullets and collisions for the next 1.5 seconds. This update basically makes her usable. She's not always going to suicide at 12 seconds into the battle, but it doesn't make her good by any means. She can still take one-shot damage because of the way that it triggers. It needs to recognize the frame, so it's usually about a 0.1 second delay. This is unlike Hiru, which is like, if she would take fatal damage, do this. This is if the game recognizes that she's already taken the 10%, that's fine. She can still get one shot too, so if a boss kills her, and it's not like she has a lot of HP, so she can very well get one-shotted. Additionally, it's still damage type specific, so it's bullets or collisions, which is better than before, but it's still like special bosses have like special lasers and things that will still deal damage to her. So realistically, she's going to die still very quickly, and overall, this skill is buffing like Torps, which is not what she's meant to be doing. She also teleports just herself, which basically separates her from the rest of your Vanguard, which is weird. The bullets go through her, so it's not like she's blocking anything. She's not good still. She can actually be used, like she's not like an instant death every time you use her, which is kind of like a bug, but was just by design. So I guess the update was helpful to her. We'll see if they'll do another one, because I know that people are not going to be super happy about this, but at least now you can bring her in a fleet and she can do something other than die. All right, with that update out of the way, let's get into the rest of the live stream content. First things first is a lot of the content they're releasing for the Chinese anniversary is actually being dropped in 3 separate releases. So the first release was the main event, but there will be 2 more. 8 more purchasable skins will be dropped on May 30th. Additionally, a Little Frederick event will be started on May 30th too, another small ship to bully. Some amazing looking O skins are going to be dropping on June 6th, and there are some museum collaboration skins for Chenhai and Lungwu. These will be added as free skins at a later date. Also, among these 3 installments of updates, there are going to be multiple changes to the game experience. One that you've probably already been well aware of is the new UI for the main screen. All the buttons have been moved to the side and gotten smaller so that skins can be the main visible feature of your screen, and there's more emphasis on seeing those, which for many players is a large asset. Part of this feature also includes adding an idle mode, which basically gives you only the skin and a clock if you aren't active for a certain set period of time. Now, one thing I really do like about this update is the option to go back to the old UI. You can go into settings and change it back if you like the old one better because it has bigger buttons or something like that, or, you know, muscle memory and you prefer it. So I can definitely appreciate that they gave us the option here. Also, yesterday, Miss Meta just randomly walked past me and saw the idle animation here and was like, what is that swimsuit? My probably favorite update of this event is the fact that now meta ships have their own dock, so they don't count towards your dock space, which is great because you cannot retire them, but they also count as fleet tech. This is something I've been asking for forever, and it finally has come. I'm super happy about it, and this last live stream I had was great because I didn't have to worry about dock space. The way they did it's a little weird, but basically they still sit in your dock as normal, but you're basically credited the extra slots they take up. Another really handy quality of life update they had is now there's going to be a new button in the dorm that collects everything. It's going to collect all the hearts and the coins at the click of a button rather than trying to find your ship girl running around behind all of the things, hiding in boxes, etc. So that really will quicken that part of the daily missions and stuff, so I'm happy about that. Sometimes it's the small things in life. So those are all updates that came during the last maintenance. You should see them in game already, but I did want to just mention them because I didn't talk about them in the last data mine because there were so many other things to go over in that video. Also, in the next update, next week, we should be getting an update to the mail collection, which will allow us to collect our mail, but not have it count towards the hard cap that exists in the game. This, I think, is more for them to have to reduce the amount of things they have to record and store and things like that, because players have been using the mail as an extra piggy bank for the longest time since the beginning of the game because of that hard cap that exists in the game. So they're kind of removing that, allowing you to actually collect your mail and not have like 1,000 pieces of mail sitting uncollected in your mailbox. This one is not like something I'm super excited for, but it is something that I'm happy they addressed when they were fixing the mail, because if they would have forced us to take them all immediately, that would have been very upsetting. And so at least they did right by us, according to what they said the plan's going to be. Also, there's going to be a Gear Lab update that should include the New Jersey gun, so that will now be permanently available. Also, starting June 1st, there will be the new cruise missions. The free meta ship for that will be Fok meta, and the skin will be Attilio Regalo. Also, the current Opsai meta fight, Rodney meta, will be ending on June 12th. Her replacement is going to be Wichita meta. And with all that out of the way, we've gotten to the part that I really wanted to talk about in this video, and that is the future planned updates that are currently in development with no official date of release yet. So this is kind of like a roadmap for the future direction of Azur Lane. So out of these, the first one I expect them to update is the battle UI. They just completed the regular main screen UI, so it would make sense that they'd switch up the battle UI. So this is kind of what it would look like in the future. They kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Largely looks like it's going to be very similar to before. You might have to remap some of your BlueStacks keys. Affiliate link in the description. However, hopefully it will fix some of the lag issues that happen at the later maps, so cool, I guess something new. Hopefully not just for the sake of it. Something else that's not just for the sake of it, something that I like, it's giving players options again, is the ability to change your background music. So your home screen, you should be able to choose from many of the various tunes that Azur Lane has had over the years to be able to pick your favorite background music. Love that. Cool, simple update. Also, does anyone remember the Project Identity Raising TB? I know they just released it, but I haven't actually cleared it more than that one time. I'll probably get back to it at some point. And this update's related to that, actually. They're going to be adding Scavenger to that Project Identity. So I guess that's how they're going to be doing Sirens in the future. They're going to be doing them in Project Identity. So they're not going to be really obtainable ships, but you are going to be able to potentially get them for your secretary, kind of in that slot. So that's interesting. I know a lot of people who are actually going to be excited about that. I'm not one of them, but that's fine. I'm excited about many weird things that many of the player base isn't excited about. Next is an update they've talked about before in previous events. However, we've never seen real visuals of this before. We've only actually had it articulated to us verbally. And while we did have that with the Chinese censorship fog, we did get to see the 3D models that they are planning to bring to Azur Lane in the future. They look pretty good to me, honestly. There are still a lot of questions about phone space, as well as the way that they're going to render them and how many characters will be available. But if implemented correctly, I don't see how the player base isn't going to be excited about this. And they took 3D to another level, one that I had no idea was coming. It was totally unexpected. They showed off a brand new concept of what I'm going to call a farm simulator. I think they translated it somewhere along the lines of Saratoga's Island. They basically showed off this 3D open world campground, and it looks somewhat related to Project Identity. I can't help but compare it to Farmville for some reason, but if you ever had the urge to milk something in Azur Lane, now you can finally do it. These like chibi 3D animations, kind of reminiscent of Blue Archive style and like kind of a Stardew Valley mix. I'm not sure exactly what the point and strategy is behind this game mode here, but it is at least interesting and is going to take a lot of effort and potentially more phone space. Let me know in the comments what you think of this feature, or really any of the features mentioned in this video. Personally, I think this Saratoga's Island one is probably the most outrageous, but at the same time, it's also piqued my interest, so I don't know, I'm just going to be curious until they drop it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap of the live stream. Of course, I didn't go into the details of the new ships. I have a separate 40-minute data mine video for that, so if you do want to look at those, be sure to check that out. Also, what I didn't know I needed before this stream was a navigational GPS reading me off my directions in the voice of an anime ship girl waifu. That was something else they announced during this video, but obviously it was a collab with a Chinese-only navigational provider, so don't expect anything like that coming to global. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace out.